Welcome guys to the first episode of a new series on this channel called FilmTV. Today I'm showing you how to unlock cinema camera features and controls on your Canon DSLR using a firmware called Magic Lantern. So if you're rocking a Nikon or a Sony camera, this video will not really help you out since Magic Lantern is exclusive to Canon bodies. So let's start this video showing you how to make your Canon camera function as a cinema camera. Let's take a moment to talk about safety. Is Magic Lantern safe to rely on as a tool in production? Or is it safe that when you install Magic Lantern on your Canon DSLR, it won't mess up anything in your camera, like breaking it or making it unusable for normal kind of use? If you want the direct and quick answer to that question, it's, for me, as a user of Magic Lantern for the past year at least, is that yes, it is safe to use. It is solid and it's reliable on every situation. I have a couple moments when the camera has shut off and I didn't get to turn on, and then I just took out the battery and put it on again, and then it worked as normal. But I don't think that's a Magic Lantern issue, because that has happened for me even though I did not use Magic Lantern at that current time. In past that, I want to mention a couple things for safety of using Magic Lantern. It's not developed by Canon, so that's a couple that will bring up a couple things. Is that if something would happen, theoretically, if something would happen to your Canon DSLR, then Canon would tell you that they don't take any kind of responsibility what happened to your camera, and even in the worst case scenario they could even tell you that that would void your camera's warranty. So just be aware of these kind of facts. I'm not telling you this that this should scare you away from Magic Lantern. I'm just telling you that you should be aware that these are the limitations of Magic Lantern, but they have been told on Magic Lantern's website that they won't take any responsibility if something would happen to your camera. And something that would happen to your camera, the possibility is still very low. About 99% of the use of Magic Lantern has reported that it have worked fine, and it really has been working as advertised, which makes a user like me very happy. Another thing to notice is the team behind Magic Lantern and the builds. They do constantly update and upgrade the stability and safety of Magic Lantern year after year. So it's not like you're downloading and installing on your camera a 2014 version of Magic Lantern. The last one is from around 30 days ago. So they really go ahead and they really take the stuff and make them secure. So when you install Magic Lantern on your camera, it really does work as advertised, and you shouldn't encounter any kind of problems. Okay, so let's say something does happen to your camera. So what do? There's a very simple fix since the last updates for Magic Lantern. It's as simple as that you go ahead and eject out the SD card where the Magic Lantern is installed, and what you do is you plug that into your computer and you format the card using your computer. So you just wipe out all the data and empty the card out, and also deleting the Magic Lantern and everything. So when you put the SD card in once again, restart the camera, then your camera should function as your normal Canon DSLR with their normal camera settings, or the Canon menu settings. Now, since the safety warnings are out of our way, let's go ahead and talk about how you can get Magic Lantern installed on your Canon DSLR. I will make a very quick roundup of how this process works, but if you want a more detailed guide, step by step how to get Magic Lantern on your camera, you can find tons of videos on YouTube. Just make a simple YouTube search and you will have that on your way. But okay, so I will break this down to 3 steps. First step is that you download the correct firmware from Magic Lantern's website to your specific camera. Remember, it is for your specific camera. You can't download Canon 5D Mark III Magic Lantern version for your Rebel series. You have to have the specific camera, but they have a whole list and it's very cleanly laid out, so you can't go mistaken of what is the firmware you need. Then you just download it and then you have it on your computer. Step number 2 is to make your SD card ready for the Magic Lantern firmware. How to do that is, for the first, you format the card, so you wipe all the data, and after that you check that you have the right firmware, Canon firmware, inside your camera and your SD card installed for Magic Lantern. Magic Magic Lantern needs a specific firmware for their newest Magic Lantern version. It's not always that the Canon's newest firmware is compatible with Magic Lanterns, but they have everything on their website, so just make sure you have the right firmware, you install that, and then you're ready to rock for the third and the final step. So for the final step, when you have SD card covered, you got the Magic Lantern, what you do is you take your SD card out of your camera, you put that into your computer. Then what you do is you take all the Magic Lantern files you downloaded and put them into the SD card folder you can open on your computer. After that, you can eject the card, put it back to your camera, and then you navigate to the firmware window where you normally would update your firmware. This time it will just install Magic Lantern instead. It will take a couple of 10 seconds, it will look like your camera is being hacked. No worry. And after those couple 10 seconds, it will tell you that you have to just restart your camera, and once you have done that, voila, you got Magic Lantern magically installed on your DSLR. Okay, so now you got successfully Magic Lantern installed on your Canon DSLR body. So now let's go talk about my favorite features, why Magic Lantern is such a good tool for filmmaking. So let's jump straight into that. Custom white balance by Kelvin. Having the opportunity to tune the white balance by 100 increments on the Kelvin scale is a wanted feature that's usually found on way more expensive cameras. Previously, having to be limited to custom white balance presets is really challenging at some points, and it's great to finally be able to have full control over the white balance settings. Magic Lantern also packs a super useful white balance scan feature that scans the environment to get that perfect white balance. It's easy to use and can save some serious time on set. Focus peaking in zebras. A feature that's common in more expensive external monitors and cameras is a way to visually monitor the focus and the highlight clipping of your camera. With focus peaking, you can see colored dots around subjects which are in focus. This is a very cool feature for you guys who film for yourselves. With zebras, you can easily monitor if you're overexposing any parts of your video, because on a small screen, overexposed areas are very easily missed. Fine-tuning of your camera properties. This is a very small thing, but being able to have fine control over ISO, shutter speed, shutter angle, and aperture in one place unlocks more creative control over your camera. You can even have full control over the frame rates your camera is capturing, so you're not limited to only 24, 25, 50 frames per second depending on your camera, which is a very cool bonus. So for example, now you can capture 12 frames per second to simulate that security camera footage style right into your camera. Since you can have far more control over the ISO of your camera, here's a little tip to get less noisier and a lot of cleaner image. By using the ISO values of 160, 320, 640, and 1250, you will get the least amount of noise. There's a guy on the internet who did a lens cap test where he looked at different ISO values to find out what values gave the cleanest image. Intervalometer. Have you ever wanted to make professional time lapses, but you don't want to stand by the camera for hours taking pictures every 5 seconds? Nor do you own a physical intervalometer or have it built into your camera, which only a couple camera brands do include. Well, with Magic Lantern this issue is pretty much covered, because now you have an intervalometer built into your camera with extensive controls. You can select everything from the amount of photos it will take, the frequency of the imaging, and when it will stop, and so on. That's super cool stuff. So drop a like if you want to see an in-depth tutorial on how to capture an amazing time-lapse using Magic Lantern. Cinema crop marks. You can now easily put anamorphic crop overlays into your live view, so you can better frame your footage if you plan to put some anamorphic bars in post. And hey, don't worry, it won't stay on the final footage when you review it in the media view. It's just as a guide and a very helpful one. Deleting footage. Magic Lantern menus are accessed from the trash can button, which can raise the question, how do you delete your footage? It's actually very easy. You go to the media view and you find the clip you want to delete and then click the trash can button. See? Done. So the conclusive question is Magic Lantern worth it? Well, I think absolutely you have to try it out at least, to see if it fits your production, because there's so many features I didn't even get to cover in this whole video because there's too many to cover in normal video length. but there's a super lot of cool features I want to cover in videos later on in the future, so keep your eyes up on that. So back to the main question, is Magic Liner worth it? Please do try it out and tell me your opinion in the comment section down below. Because that's it for this time. Thanks for following along this first episode of FilmTV, of the new series where we cover filmmaking tips and tricks and gear to help your DIY filmmaking life. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to smash that like button if you dig this kind of content. Next week I'm gonna round up with another very exciting VFX tutorial inside After Effects. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are waiting for that one. So hey, forward to the next time. My name is VK. See you guys.